Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be downloading and installing NetBeans here. Um, the version of NetBeans that I want you to install is NetBeans 11.1. And we're also going to have to install the JDK for Java. And so you have to do things in a certain order. So make sure that you're following the order that I've outlined here, so that you have a kind of if you do it wrong, you're going to find out that NetBeans doesn't work. So you have to make sure that you're doing it in the proper order. So the first thing you can do though is go ahead and download the two different files that you're going to need. So if you go to the internet, the first thing that you're going to need is the JDK. So if you just go to your address bar and type in Oracle JDK, you'll see right here that you have some Java SE downloads, and that's the link that you want to follow here is the Java SE downloads. So if you click on that, it will bring you to the Oracle's page where they have all the different Java downloads. Now, the most recent version is Java SE 14, but don't download 14 because there are some issues with the new versions of NetBeans and Java Development Environment 14. So what you want to do instead is download Java SE 13. So this is the one you want to download. So you want to move over and click on the JDK download. You don't really have to worry about the documentation download right now. Just worry right now about this JDK download. So you click on that. It's going to give you the opportunity to read the license update. Don't really have to worry about too much about that. And you're going to scroll down to the bottom and you'll see two different installers depending on your operating system. So if you're working with a Mac computer, you're going to want to install it using this Mac OS installer. But for most of us, we're working with Windows computers, so you're going to be using this Windows x64 installer. So you want to download this file. Okay, so you're going to click on that and accept the license agreement and then click download. Now, I've already downloaded this software, so I'm not going to do it again. But you would simply click on this button and it'll download it to your downloads folder or wherever you normally save things. Okay, the next place we're going to go once you've successfully downloaded JDK 13, we're going to go and download NetBeans. So you want to type in Apache NetBeans 11.1 in your URL browser. And then if you hit enter, it will search and it will and there's the actual download site for downloading Apache NetBeans 11.1. And you'll know that you're in the right spot because when you go there, it'll say netbeans.apache.org. That's where we want to be. And then the downloads are available there. You should see a page that looks like this. Make sure that you're here. Don't go somewhere else to download NetBeans because you might be going to a site that has viruses or the file might be corrupt or whatever. So you want to make sure that you're on this Apache NetBeans site. And then you're going to want to make sure that that's 11.1. Once you've done that, you're going to download this Apache NetBeans 11.1 Windows x64.exe. Okay, so it's the installers that you're worrying about, not any of the other ones. Don't worry about the source file. Don't worry about these binary files. You want to download this installer. Again, if you're using a Mac, you're going to use this Mac OS installer. But for the large majority of us, again, we're worrying about this Windows x64 installer. So again, you're going to click on that installer. You're going to download that file. Now you'll see here I've already got that downloaded, so I'm not going to continue. But you would just normally save that to the same location that you saved your other JDK 13. Okay? All right. Now, once you have successfully downloaded both the NetBeans 11.1 file and the JDK 13 file, here's where the order of installation becomes really important. So first thing you want to do is you want to go and find your JDK file. So you want to go into that downloads folder or wherever you downloaded the information to, and you want to install this JDK 13 first. This should be the first file that you install. Don't do it in a reverse order or you'll end up with trouble with your NetBeans. Okay, just ignore this one here. That was when I was trying with the newer version of the JDK. But so you're downloading this JDK 13, and that's the one you want to install first. Okay. Now, again, I've already done this, so I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to go in, and if you go into my apps, And you may want to check this once you have installed it, once you've successfully gone through the install process. You can see down, if you look down in the J's, okay, so there's Java Development Kit 13, okay? So I've got that already installed, but you're going to need to make sure that you install that so that you're ready to go. Once that has been successfully installed, then you can go ahead and install NetBeans. Okay, now I haven't installed NetBeans yet, so I'm going to do it just to show you. So you double click on that installer. Okay, obviously you want to click yes. It's going to configure the installer, and then you should come up with a screen that allows you to move forward with the installation. Okay, and we're on the right track here. Okay, welcome to the installer. You'll be guided through the process. So you just click next, accept the terms of the agreement, click next. Okay, and then here you will notice that it has given you the NetBeans IDE. So here's where the NetBeans file is going to be located, but then also the Java environment has to be there as well. And if you have already installed the Java environment, this should come up with the proper path to the JDK 13. You can see that's the case here. Okay, so it has found my JDK 13, and this is where it's going to install things to. So we want to leave all that because that's kind of what we want. Click next. You can click check for updates. It doesn't really matter though, because we're not going to be using any more current version than 11.1. So whether this is checked or not doesn't really matter. But I'll leave it checked just so that when there are updates of NetBeans, I'm aware of them. Um, just as a teacher, it's good for me to know that. So then I just click install, and the installation process may take a few minutes. With the magic of video, I'm going to just jump to the finished product. So, okay, so once the installer is complete, and it will take a few minutes to install, like I think mine took 2 full minutes. Some of you with slower machines might take longer, some of you with faster machines might take less time, but generally speaking, it takes a couple of minutes to install. There's quite a bit to install. It is a fairly big file, so just be aware that it might take a little bit of time to do that. You just click the finish button, and now we should have a completely installed NetBeans. And the next thing to do is to just test the install. So you should see NetBeans show up in your desktop. If not, it will most likely be in your start menu somewhere. Don't forget it's under Apache, so it's in the A's. Okay, it's not something that is going to be down in your N's. Okay, you can see here I've got Apache NetBeans, and I have to drop down the box and do it there. Okay, so you want to run Apache NetBeans, and hopefully, I know it's been a while, but hopefully once NetBeans opens up, you will see a familiar looking environment, and that will be the environment that we will use going forward. Now, there are a couple of things that need to be done, and I'll just talk to you about those kind of before I talk about some of the alternatives that we may have to be working with. Yeah, so here we are. Now, there might be a situation where when you try to create a new project, um, NetBeans gives you this, and you can just resolve those problems. And oh, that's because I used a previous version. That's why. Okay, so like when I go to create a new project, remember we are down with Java with Ant. That's where you want to be. And we're going to be doing Java applications. And don't forget that if you are in the grade 12 class, you're most likely going to be, creating these other NetBeans modules or whatever else that you have to add in. Okay, so we click next. This is where something kind of changes a little bit. Remember, initially I talked to you about making sure that this was set to your S drive. Obviously now we're not doing that. So what you should be doing is creating a folder somewhere on your C drive. I would create a folder that has the course code, and then have another folder inside that has the actual where you're actually putting all your programming files. Um, and that way it will always go to that same project folder every single time you create a new application. And then I'll put this as test 2. Okay, don't forget to have that create main class checked, because you want to make sure that's checked all the time. and then click Finish. And then it should create our new project for us. And then this is again when things should start to look fairly familiar. So hopefully that helped you. If you have any questions or you're having problems with that scenario, just let me know. I will say that for those of you that can't download NetBeans onto your computer, or you don't have a computer that has NetBeans, let me know that. We do have some alternatives that we can use for you to be developing Java programs in a different way. Okay, so let's I'll stop the video there. That's probably longer than I wanted to go to start with anyways. And then I'll give you some updates as far as how to send those files to me, because in the end, you're ultimately going to have to be saving these files and then sending them to me to be assessed. And so I'll talk a little bit more about how to package these files up and upload them to the e-learning site in a later video, probably sometime next week. Okay? All right, guys, have a safe weekend. Enjoy your long weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon.